to Physique. My name's Kelvin. Currently 3 days out from the PCA Manchester first show of 2017. Today, just going to do a bit of a pump up. Mainly going to be shoulders and back. A lot of people do not train the last few days with a carb up, but personally I find it much more beneficial to carry on training, pump the muscles full of blood, and just have a look at myself every night. Just see where the carbs are going. Just find it's a lot more less stressful just to throw a load of carbs in, stop training, you're not really sure where you are. So we just put them in a little bit slower throughout the week. So I'm probably up to my carbs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today's Thursday. So we're starting to fill out. I've actually dropped weight because I'm dropping water as well now. So we're going to have a pump up on the back and shoulders, and then we'll see how we're looking after that. Okay. Let's do supersetting as part of the peak volume system that we've been using on a regular basis. Designed based on the German volume training system. It's adapted. So continuing on with that, it's worked really well for the masculine, and it's just working well for this stage of the competition as well. Just get a nice pump in them areas. Done kind of a double superset of side raises, front presses, behind head neck pull downs, front neck pull downs, just to different angles, just to get pumping just to feel the pump differently. So as much as I mentioned that the German volume training system was a bit rigid, the good things about it is what I've tried to keep. So whereas it's doing 4 and 5 exercises for a body part, you've got to do 4 or 5 warm-up sets on every single exercise, and that's a lot of time wasted warming up. Whereas if you're doing 10 sets of 10 on a pair of exercises, once you've warmed up, them 10 sets are all pretty close to failure. So you're getting a lot of volume close to weights that are nearer to your 1 rep max that are going to stimulate more growth. So I've definitely tried to keep that part of the principle involved in it, and doing with the 5 sets of 5, you're even closer to your 1 rep max, but without ever really struggling. So on the first set of 5 or 6 reps, you know, you probably can do 8, and it's only really on by the time you get to the 4th or 5th set that you reach close to failure. And ideally you don't need to hit failure. As long as next week you lift more and next week you lift more, then ideally if you never ever fail but always get stronger, then it's perfect. Less chance of injury, and you're progressing, and that's the whole point is to progress. So what I'm trying to do with the peak volume system is make it very adaptable to whoever's using it and what their needs are. So typical the gym volume training was chest and back superset, quads and hams superset, bicep and tricep superset. But I definitely need to work on my back and my arms. And although it is good, the gym volume training system is good for arms, you get a whole day on arms. It's a little bit uneven. I mean, a leg day, supersetting squats and lying leg curls is a lot harder than curls and maybe a tricep press or dips or something in terms of your overall energy output. So I actually can do a couple of different supersets. So if you think about a tricep press with close grip, it's the opposite to a seated row. So supersetting seated rows and close bench press made perfect sense to me. Supersetting shoulder press and pull downs on a different day, and even doing, you know, a bench press and high rows up towards the back. So you can do back, chest, with shoulders, and with triceps. They're all pushing and pulling. And then sometimes I'll do, instead of doing biceps and triceps, I'll do chest and biceps. So I'm still pushing and curling for pulling. So it's still opposing. It's not quite the opposing, the directly opposing muscle group, but it's still an opposing movement. I always liked the Dorian style. I always liked high intensity training, pushing it to failure, and really going for it and getting psyched up for that one step. But I just found the injuries. I wasn't making progress. And I stumbled along the gym and volume training and watched a bit of polygon. So if I was ill at home, and I just watched a bit of polygon. So if I liked something about here, I thought, I'll give it a go. And for 8 weeks, I did gym and volume training, chest, back, biceps, triceps, quads and hams, 3 days out of 5, repeat. But the second time I repeated it was with different exercises. So there's 2 different workouts for each of the different supersets. And I didn't go to beyond failure once in 8 weeks and progressed really well in strength and size. It was really noticeable. And then because it was a little bit rigid in its principles, I thought, well, how can I adapt this to make it better for the individual doing it? Or how can I adapt it to make it even more beneficial? So as part of the peak volume system, it's not 10 sets of 10. I start the first superset off with 5 sets of 5 with like really big compound movements, a shoulder press, for example, and then pull-ups. And then the second ones will be more something a little bit more controlled. So it would be 5 sets of 10 to 12 on pull downs, which you can have a little bit more control than pull-ups, and maybe dumbbell press where you can squeeze a little bit more and have a little bit of a bigger range of movement. So it's just getting, and also it's not boring, it's just doing 10 sets of 10. I mean, probably I can't say it here, but there's like tally marks all over the wall because we were marking down when we'd done the supersets for about 8 weeks. There was tally marks everywhere over the gym. Obviously you can see they're decorated, so it doesn't really matter. Sets of pull downs. So I'm just going to do a giant set now, front raise, side raise, rear delt raise, upright row, shoulder press. Carbs today. With the water coming out, it's difficult. It's difficult. I mean that's why often people can't get a pump backstage. You completely dry out. You can't get a pump. You need some water in your system to pump. In fact, I always have a pre-workout drink backstage. It was about 350 ml of water. I generally sip water on the day. Don't completely cut it. Because you do need enough water in the system to get a pump and fullness, otherwise you will be flat and look soft. It's the balance of being full enough to look bigger and also dry enough to obviously the skin to be thin and see the separation. You can't be full and empty or full and dry, because if you're full then you're holding a lot of water, and if you're dry you're not. It's just about getting the balance between the two, of being full enough and dry enough. I'm really adept at posing. It's always been known that I'm using a bit of posing. So probably it's really after we train, I make the lads pose, something that I need to improve upon it, and so I'll hit poses with them. Okay, so a quick introduction to what we trained tonight, part of the peak volume training system. We started off with Smith machine shoulder press, and we supersetted that with close grip pull downs. We did about 5 sets of that with a, well, I call it a working weight. The heaviest weight we used obviously was being close to the show, very sort of like 60-70% of the weight we would normally use. So then we moved on to side raise superset with dumbbell press. So it's a little bit more isolation, a little bit more of a squeeze. Then about a minute's rest, we moved on to pull behind the neck. You notice we sit the opposite way on the pull down so I can sit forward, because otherwise I feel like I'm trying to pull it behind me, whereas there it comes down naturally, and then as I go to the forward motion I just lean back and it just feels, it just hits a different angle of the back, it just feels nice. So that was like a double superset almost, like, or a superset. And Again, probably wouldn't do that in the off season. It was just something different today. It was just getting a pump, getting a feel, and then we finished off then with a bit more shoulders because we'd done a pull push day yesterday with triceps and rows. So we did just a giant set really: front raise, side raise, bent over raise, upright rows, shoulder press, and did some shrugs as well. And then we just did that in reverse. So we did that a couple of times. By that point, I felt about as pumped as I was going to get. I was feeling quite tight and dry and a bit twitchy. So we did a bit of posing, and that was it. So mainly tonight's workout was just giving an indication of where I am. Do I need more carbs? Do I need more water? Do I need less water? Do I need less carbs? And then obviously I wake up every morning on an empty stomach. I'll go through my posing routine. I'll go through the quarter turns. I'll video it. I'll upload it to YouTube usually and watch it myself, and I'll make some adjustments depending on how I feel, look, and what I feel like I need to be a bit more full or a bit more dry. And that's basically how I do it. Leading up to the show, the last days, I'll be really visual of how I look and how I feel, to then make certain adaptations to try and peak for the last day, the show, because. I don't think you can make definitive plans 5 days before because you don't know how it's going to work. So just take it day by day, and then make the necessary adaptations. And it's always small adaptations. It's never drastic, because that's making drastic changes is when the body reacts and holds water or flattens out or does something crazy because it doesn't like it. It's just small, slight adaptations just to get the right result. Because if you're not looking good 7 days from a show, 10 days from a show, you're not going to look good. It's just tweaking those little things, just try and peak it for the day, and it's just small manipulations. I'll be tanning up backstage, I'll have a pre-workout backstage, so it'll come alive the last sort of hour, but the rest of the time I register, I'll speak to a few people. I'm sure there'll be people interested in the system that have been watching YouTube that don't contact you and wait till you get the show, and there's quite a few people that said, oh, I'll see you at the show, I want to talk to you, blah, 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 blah. So there'll be a bit of that, and then at some point I'll probably just find a corner, put my head down, get some rest, and then I start to try and, because you can lose a lot of nervous energy, so as it comes closer to the show, just try and switch off, and then right, it's time to go. And I'll wake up, and I'll be starting thinking about posing. I'll be looking at all the competitors, and I'll be picking fault at them in a nasty way, but right, you know, it's a competition. So I'll be looking at them, and I'll be telling myself that I'm in good shape and I'm pumping up and I'm feeling good. And I'm starting to feel that positivity, friendly with everyone, but on the inside, that competitiveness is on the. And I'm thinking about posing, I'm thinking about winning, I'm thinking about being the best I could possibly be. So that's all internal. You know, you turn that on and you get pumped up and you get on stage and enjoy it. Because I think a lot of people do bodybuilding and don't enjoy being on stage, and I just don't get my head around it. I mean, I can't wait to get on the stage. I can't wait to do my routine. I can't, you know, that's what it's all about.